What is going on, All-Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, it does not matter what you drive because this is your All-Terrain Nation, and I am your host, David Boyd. What is going on, everybody? What is up, Copeland? Timelessness is awesome. What's up, Sloopy? Dr. Detroit, Dan the Man. What is going on, everybody? Guys, you know the drill. Like, if you enjoy the content, smash the like button. Share it somewhere you think others might like it, and we'll just have fun from there. But it is Friday. Made it, man. It was a long week for me. I don't know about you guys, but it was a long week for me, and this is a well-deserved drink. Tonight I am drinking some Maker's Mark, and it's very good. It is very good. Oh, man, we got a good show tonight, I think. Well, you know, I'm probably a little biased by that, but it's probably not my best show. How about that? We'll say it's not the best show, but it's not my worst show I've ever done. How about that? We'll start there and we will move on. But what is up, Kevin, Joe? Not a whole lot of what? Not a whole lot of you. Oh, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can hear me and see me and all that stuff. Hopefully, once again, like, you guys are having a good weekend, man. It's springtime sort of here in Middle Tennessee. We're 70 degrees one day and 45 the next day. So, and then it's 70 degrees the next day, and you know, it is what it is. But it's all right. Car season, truck season's coming out, man. People are coming out of their garages, or they're starting to get in their garages. It may be warm enough where you're excited to go do something with your car, your latest project. I know for me, we'll get into it, but I sold my project vehicle this past week. Yeah. So where is Danny? Danny is at a family dinner tonight, Kevin. He somebody cracked the whip on old Dan, and he couldn't be here tonight, but that's all right. Danny will be back, I'm sure, next week. Danny's had a couple big weeks, man. He dropped a new video this past week. He's got, it looks like to be a couple series of things. Oh, Hawaii Nissan Nation, you coming in strong tonight, bro. Hang loose, bro. We'll go right to your question, though, Ronald. Let's see. When do we start seeing press vehicles that are fully operational for the new 2022 Nissan Frontier? Also, do I see a conductor problem, chip problem in the automotive industry affecting the Frontier Bronco production dates? Yes, I do see that being a problem, Ronald. Dan the Man, thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Well, Dan, hopefully you find a new job, man. I always hate to hear that. Let's see. First day above freezing, Kevin Copeland says, in November. That's awesome. So, Ronald, yes, so we'll just jump right into that. I do think that there's going to be a problem. And what I was told by some of the reasoning for problems is some of these chip manufacturers, it's either they build them for cell phones or everything else. And guess what's real simple, stupid, and they make a ton of money on it versus the other. Cell phones is winning out right now, is my understanding. So we'll see. I know our current administration has pushed manufacturers overseas to help us out a little bit. We need some new cars, and I need that new Bronco, definitely. And so, yes, Ronald, I do think that's going to be a problem. It's not like the Bronco, you know, Nissan and Ford Bronco, not like they need another hit on bad timing. But I think the Bronco will get out. I think they have been shuttering some plants. Ford has. I know GM's done the same thing. Nissan's production is where it needs to be right now. Last I heard, there's been no signs of it. I mean, it is affecting Nissan, but that's kind of the good thing about being on the uptick of sales is you're not selling what you're used to, and maybe that's finally a piece of bad timing that helps Nissan. So we'll say that. But as far as the Frontier press vehicles, you will see. I can't say what I've heard recently, but we may see that vehicle a little sooner than we thought. And if that is the case, you might see late spring, maybe. some press vehicles, Ronald. I seen Ratty Rides got to come over here and do a little tour around the Frontier. That was pretty cool. I'm happy it wasn't some of the other companies, the big names, getting to do it. That seems to, especially with Nissan, they seem to have their favorite press. And you know me, I'm not on that right now. I'm not on that bandwagon. So, yeah, the Bronco is a great platform, supposedly, Alpine. We'll see if they ever get it out, but I think it will. I can't wait to wheel with you, Kevin. When I bring my Bronco out that way, and we'll have some fun. Show you that long-based Gladiator that you got. Might not be as fun on the trails as who am I lying? It's gonna be fun on the trails. But Dan the Man, thank you for congratulating me on 2,000 subs. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all 2,000 people that are part of the show right now, and we keep growing, and I appreciate that. Let's see. We had a couple things I'm going to talk about tonight, but I'm going to try to get to there. It's Katrina. What is going on? Let's see. What else we got here? Try not to ignore everybody. Oh, I tried. What? Oh, Kevin Copeland. That's hilarious, man. That is a hilarious sticker. I've not seen that one. Let's see, bro. What did you wrote something? I missed it. Anyways, I do appreciate that, guys. All the super chats, I appreciate those a lot, man. They do help us with the channel, and last month they helped a lot, man. It was a nice chunk of support for the channel, so I do appreciate that, and I know Danny appreciates that. So let's see. Let's get into tonight's topic a little bit. I want to talk about some auto shows, but first I want to talk about my buddy Tim Esterthal over at Pickup Trucks and SUV Talk. So Tim had done a talk on some rust issues, some potential rust issues that he was having on his brand new, and I mean like brand new F-150. I don't know if you guys have caught that or not, but let me pull this up here real quick. And we will discuss this. There it is, pickup truck. And I'm curious what you guys take on this thing, because Tim, he wasn't pulling any punches with this, and I don't think he was trying to be mean by any means. Where'd it go? Where's your video at, Tim? There it is. All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm gonna load this up over here, and I hadn't planned on talking about this, but it just kind of hit me that it's gonna lead into something. Trust me, I've got somewhere. There we go. Somewhere I want to go with this. All right, so it's just, I'm not going to show the whole video, but we'll play this a little bit, and
rust, and again you can see it quite clearly. Surface rust. So a little bit of a pad. Scrape that off. I could paint if I wanted to.
I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I don't feel like I should have to clean that off, and it's on the other side of the U-joint as well.
Oh wait, might want to do that.
I'm a little frustrated by that. And again, if I go back to this differential cover, you can see. I mean, why the hell is the plug?
Yeah, this is what tripped me out. So let me pause that right there. That diff, look at that diff on that thing. This truck has just right at 3,000 miles on it. And Tim's differential is now, these diffs are, God, they're a ½ inch to 3/4 inch thick. Like we don't have to worry about this thing rusting apart. But usually these things are coated a little better than that. Now Tim is up north, but he drove this truck from Michigan home, and he really doesn't take it out much. It's for videos, and it shouldn't look like this already. These things are coated enough where they should not look like this in 3,000 miles and a month and a half of ownership, and it looked like this, or maybe 2 months now of ownership. I don't know if you guys saw the video or not, but it was a little disturbing when I seen Tim's video on this. Let me see if it shows the hangers here too. Once again, this isn't this stuff is through here. Look at this. This is not a big deal, but it's also a big deal, because somebody's cheapening out on some stuff. And of course, I'm about to buy a Ford Bronco, so kind of a little worrisome, wouldn't you think? And once again, now if this was a year from now, and Tim's drove this truck through the snow and ice and salt and everything, you go, okay, it's just part of where you live. But for the limited amount of time he's drove this thing, this should not look like this. Now, I will say certain parts, like where the axle here meets the transfer case, I've seen that's pretty common. I've seen that stuff happen right there. But a lot of these hangers and stuff, it trips me out that that it's this rusty already. Now, he's not found any. There's no rust on the let me fix this. There's no rust that he's talked about really on the body. But this doesn't leave give you a lot of faith that your truck is going to hold up. Now, obviously these things are aluminum too, so a lot of the outside of the truck or these panels are aluminum, so you probably wouldn't have to worry about that like you would the old days of steel bodies and stuff. But I was curious y'all's take on this thing. Look at the drain plug there. It looks like nothing's bothered it at all, but everything else around it is, you could take some steel wool to that, yes, and you could pour it, whatever you want to do. But the guy just paid $60,000 for this truck, and it should not look like this. He actually, let me see if I can find it, Alpine. He showed a couple spots on the frame already. I'm trying to just quickly do this. But yeah, if I remember right, there was a couple spots on the frame. And it's gonna be too hard. It's gonna be too hard to find it. But yeah, there was a couple little spots on the frame. So clearly they're somehow they're cheapening out, or I don't know. You go, is it COVID? Like it's just something that they couldn't do for COVID, or what's going on? But let me know in the comments here. What is your all's take on it? And if you want, go over to Pickup Truck and SUV Talk, and it's one of his latest videos, and it's worth a follow if you're interested in buying a new car. Once again, it doesn't give me a lot of faith about the Bronco that I'm about to buy, but I'm here in the South as well, where we don't deal with the conditions that a lot of northerner people do, which is it's just give and take where you live. And yeah, so I don't know, but I guess what really bothers me about this whole experience of watching Tim's video on this thing was he's been quoted everywhere. It's a story that every once in a while you'll cover something, like when I did the breaking news of the Nismo Frontier. It goes everywhere. As a journalist, I don't have any say so of where these things get picked up. They don't pay you anything to pick up your story. You hope that your story, they link your YouTube channel so that I can get paid this way. But it's the Instagram culture now. They just grab what they want. My picture was sold. My Frontier picture that I had, and you can see it over on the Nissan Nation production side, that I had of the potential Nismo. I showed that to one reporter, and guess what? He sold it to the three-letter YouTube monster, and I didn't see a dime of that. You know how much money I made on that video? About $50 right now, and that was over a year ago. And I guarantee they made a lot more, and they paid a lot for that picture. And lesson learned on that. But I find it funny that all these outlets now are picking up on Tim's his story, which is cool. It means he sparked something for that people didn't realize they were interested in, but yet they are. Especially when you're paying $60,000 for these vehicles. But I find it amazing that instantly another outlet, they didn't give Tim any credit on this. They just, they went outside to their parking lot of all their new trucks that they get to buy and quickly wrote something up on their website about it. And I was like, that's the BS part of it. They want to act like they didn't, it was just an original idea. And I don't know. Grouchy Dave is here right now for that, because I love when all of our community works together, and it happens a lot. I've been mentored by a lot of these guys. A lot of these journalists come in and mentor me, and I appreciate it and I respect it. And when I'm shown respect like that, I damn sure give it back. And when other outlets out here that got to be the first to break news or this and that, you know what? At some point, the community is going to say "F you guys," And so, anyways, so I think Tim did a hell of a job on that story, and they're going to have a lot more to it. He's already done another video where they're talking about some Chevy and Ram stuff, some issues that may be popping up. But anyways, that's my take on that. And so once again, you're dealing with Grumpy Dave tonight. I don't have Danny to filter me. What is going on? And then I'm putting booze in me. Watch out, guys. But anyways, I don't think a truck should do that, and I don't think other outlets should do the way they did. So there's my beef with that. Anyways, let's see. I got another topic here that I was interested in. Oh, so it's the picture that you've seen, the thumbnail. So I wanted to get into this just a little bit, and to do that, once again, I'm going to have to quickly pull this up, and you can play along here if you would like. We are going, if this will quickly do what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't want to. Of course it doesn't want to. It never wants to cooperate. You would think I speaking of being professional, you'd think I'd be a little more professional here, but I've had a hell of a day. And I'm back. You guys probably, if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I am a softball coach for my daughter's softball team. And we're kicking back in high gear, and the little girls kicked Dave's ass tonight. So there we go. So let's see. Whiskey, I am on a Maker's Mark tonight, Brandon. Yes, Alpine bought a Gladiator. What's up, Smitty's Garage? Who else popped in here? I'm a bourbon guy, even though I'm from Knoxville. It's awesome. But let's see. So Nissan Nation Productions. Let's see. I pop up here somewhere. Somewhere it's going to pop up. Maybe. Ooh, look at there's the little story I was talking to y'all about. And somewhere. There it is. Chicago Auto Show. So I wanted to talk. I get hit with a lot of times where people are interested in what I do, and they go, "Oh, well, how do you do this, or how did you get into this?" And I thought, well, it'll be a fun topic to talk about because it's been a slow. February was a slow car month, truck month. There wasn't a ton going on, and so far March has been kind of slow. So it's been like, oh, you know what? What are we going to talk about? But I do get this topic brought to me a lot. So let's see. That truck doesn't even drive. Which one are we talking about, Smitty? Oh, the SEMA Frontier. That truck actually does drive. I've been offered. So the Frontier you see in the background here, I've been offered to drive that vehicle on 3 occasions, and Nismo keeps teasing me with it. But that thing, they did have some. I will say they were having some. What was it? They put a clutch or something in it. I forget. They had some little hiccup with that truck. I think somebody got on it a little rough, and anyways. But yeah, this truck drives actually. I wish I was covering this back. There was the guy came out that used to own this. So this was a used truck that Nissan bought from one of their dealerships, and they had MWA Motorsports in Maryland, I believe. Did all this for him, and our buddy over at Driven Desires, he helped with the wiring harness to put the V8 in, but that's not the topic. The topic is auto shows, and I kind of wanted to click on this just for a minute. Let's see. Here we go. So this was me at press days in Chicago this time last year. And I kind of wanted to get in this just for a minute because I get people that hit me up and go, "Hey, Dave, how do you get into what you're doing?" And some of it's just been through connections, especially within the Nissan brand. I know just so many people over there. And just honestly, this has been a passion. I've covered the Nissan brand since 2008, something like that. So I've followed them for quite a while, and I've gathered a bunch of good contacts over there. But as far as the auto shows, you apply for some of this stuff, and your fingers crossed. And I will say, so when you apply for an auto show, there are a ton, and I mean a ton of mommy bloggers. That is right. There is a ton of mommy bloggers out there, and it's pretty amazing to see all the. We showed up last year to the Chicago Auto Show, and you see. You could get your credentials and everything, and we got checked into our hotel and all that, and had a lot of fun. Just fun being in Chicago, anyways. But so we get in there, and I swear to you, I kid you not, man. Out of the thousands of people that were in there, I bet half of them were mommy bloggers, and I was like, really? They care this much about the auto industry? And mostly it was about getting their fingernails or their new hairdo into the shot more than anything. But I was, I had, let's see, we went and covered the Toyota. Toyota was bringing out their midnight editions. I forget what they called their trucks with that. So we did that. Toyota fed us champagne. It was very nice. They had, I forget where he was in marketing, I think, was retiring. So all the press, they were, we had a nice little party for that guy. They brought out their new cars. It was fun. Jeep was doing, that's when they brought out the Mojave. Which was really cool. Ram probably, out of all the auto shows I've been to, Ram probably does the best setup for auto shows. They rent the space. They're definitely millions of dollars for whatever they're doing, but they had the Ram trucks out with where they were off camera. They were showing how flexible the trucks were and stuff, and you could take rides in it. Jeep had all the Jeep Wranglers and Gladiators out there on an actual off-road course that they'd built, which was really cool. And one dude about ran off the track, which was kind of funny. And I'm in press days, so I'm sure that's still a little new to these guys. So the press gets the first 3 days of the event, and then they kick it off to everybody. So we can fly in. I don't have, every little kid up your ass, like where you're trying to talk to somebody about a car, or you're trying to get in it, take pictures and stuff. And man, I sound like a dick. But they give you the first few days, and me and Kelly went with me on this one, and she was helping me out, and we got to go to the Nissan. That's when they revealed the 2020 Frontier, where they were putting the new 3.8 in the 9-speed in the truck. Nissan did a hell of a job the night before opening. Drinks, whatever, and then they brought the truck out, and that's when they revealed the 1,000,000-mile truck, which was really fun. And then you get to go, you go through the booths, and they have like a normal car show. You'll see people there, grumpy Dave Knight, very much. But I will say Nissan had the worst booth there. It was horrible. The future of the auto show industry right now is kind of up in the air. And I hope that's not what Nissan left out on, because it was pretty damn horrible. Let's see, Alpine, since I poked Nissan for years, we ran a pre-production Titans, Pathfinders, second gen X's all over Moab. Yeah, that's a cool thing. Like having an event too, that does help when you're running an event, and especially like Kevin there, they know Moab so well. I'm sure that was a nice little perk of that. But so my next auto show last year was going to be not New York, probably Detroit. I think is what I was going to try to get into. Detroit's a very hard show to get into for press, and because we were expecting at the time of Detroit Auto Show, I was told Chicago Auto Show for Frontier. It didn't happen, so I was expecting kind of that they did. They were going to obviously do Rogue, but I kind of thought they were going to do Frontier around then, either that or the Texas State Fair. But I was going to do a bunch of flying last year for some of the auto shows, and then obviously the thing we can't talk about popped up, and so it's led me into this of auto coverage now, and I'm curious what y'all's take is on it, because you guys in a lot of cases get to see the vehicles as soon as I get to see them. I'm not on all the manufacturer's press list just yet, to where I get the usually a couple days before. I know with Frontier they did it where a couple days before they gave their little spiel about it, and they sent did a reveal video for them, and Ram, Ford, they all do the same thing. The Raptor, I know Tim was a part of the Raptor stuff where he got to see it a few days before, and why I push like you guys to smash the like button and all of that is to get on their radar too. So I'm sure you get tired of hearing me like beg for likes and subscribes, but I need to get on their radar, and it's going to take. I probably good. I need about 10,000 honestly. Oh, it's about to go in great presentation. Cheers, cheers, Alpine. But so once I can get a little more recognition with them, awareness of what we're doing, and I want to cover all this fairly, but the auto shows, you just get the auto shows allow you in. So, the manufacturers bring their stuff there. We get to do with it as we want. I've met people within Nissan, some that didn't like me, some that liked me. I've made some great contacts with Toyota and some of these brands. And through people asking, hey, Dave, how do you do this? It's just a lot of it is like Alpine was saying, you just make connections. And over the years of just running in the Nissan circles, what are you saying? Let's see. Brandon says Rev Match TV hit 70,000 subs. I wonder what he did because this channel is just as good. Oh, thank you, man. Some of that, Brandon, is just personality, man. My personality may not be for everybody, just like some of those shows are, not for me. But I've made a bunch of contacts within the industry. I've got I think 20 emails right now that I need to get out for. I mean, I'm talking Audi, Mercedes, anybody that I can reach out to right now is going to get emails from me. And I'm trying to get on their list. And so it's just been years of working some of these people. And I know when I hit up Nissan for when they gave me a Versa and some of the stuff to test out, it's just they're testing the waters with me, and I'm testing the waters with what they'll let me get away with. And the Versa was really cool. And for whatever reason, one of my solid people in my corner over at Nissan changed. They went to Infinity. And the person that took her job doesn't like me. Oh, Alpine, thank you so much, buddy. And so then like Kevin here was saying, he thinks the next show might be the Texas State Fair. Which if it is there, I will be there, Kevin. I have plans through all these super chats and everything that you guys do. I do plan on covering a lot more of that stuff. But so there I'm at, building contacts, shaking hands, kissing babies. I don't know, whatever you do to make the world goes around by who you know. And that's been a big part of where I've gotten to this point. And like I was about to say earlier, my buddy Tim over at Pickup Trucks and SUVs, he was a big fan of Dave. Do a channel of everything. You guys, a lot of you know me through the Nissan Nation production side, and I was like, Tim, I'm using the Nissan Nation production side as a proof and concept. Can I make that work? And I'm amazed it's still growing, and I haven't put anything on there in a month. And so that's part of it. That was part of the Nissan, the podcast. Can I make that work? I know that brand in and out. And, like you see a lot of Bronco content on this channel now. That's kind of the next step for me is like, okay, what do I need to know about that vehicle? Bronco pays the bills on this channel, guys. I drop a Bronco video. That's probably why you see a lot of them, is because I can get some funding that way. I dropped I will say this, my Nissan Xterra video I just released. Not the greatest video in the world. It was some stuff I'd shot over our little winter storm we had, and I didn't finish it. And I just needed to get a video out, and I was kind of sad. Me and Kelly were cleaning out that Xterra. We sold that Xterra as well. And I needed to get something out, and I looked at that video the other day. I watched it, and I was like, it doesn't even have like 100 views on that thing. And I was like, I deserve that, man. So point of it is, make good contacts. Let them believe in you, but don't let them down, which is what that video did for me. It was a big letdown. Joe, yes, we do love Wendy. Wendy is awesome, and Wendy's gonna kick ass further past Infinity. By the way, Joe, she's a star on the rise, man. You're gonna see some big things for her, and she has a past with GM, so you never know on that. Let's see. Silver Warrior, what is going on, dude? Silver Warrior, was that you sent me something the other day about being in a magazine. Was that recent? I didn't get a chance to really read up on it. Let's see. So yes, pretty much follow the trends, Smitty. If you wanna jump into this, and you guys ever plan on doing something with YouTube or in the journalism world, hit me up, man. I've had a lot of mentors, and I'm not like, there's plenty of pie out here for everybody. So, and don't ever think that you can't do this, because yeah, I've got a little bit of money invested in equipment now, but other than that, man, you just roll with it. Let's see, Dog Breath, David/Kevin, what are the chances that the 2022 Nissan Frontier is selected as Motor Trend's Truck of the Year? Can it beat out the new Tundra? If so, would that award help Frontier sales? I don't think Motor Trend's Truck of the Year has any. I think it's value within the manufacturers community. I don't think that there's. This is the modern magazines. This is. Motor Trend and all these places are so left behind about they didn't jump on. They could have owned this. Yeah, if you go to Motor Trend's YouTube, they have like 4 million subs, something like that. But they could have owned this whole thing, and they just chose to be more of a magazine, and now it's biting them in the ass a little bit. But I think that and Car and Driver, oh my God, they pissed me off so bad. So that, going back to Tim's article and stuff he wrote and did the video on that F-150, they called him a truck blogger. Now, Tim went to school for journalism. Tim is a journalist, and that pissed me off for my friend. I was like, really? Because some of these guys, they work for the old school Car and Driver and all this, and they think like their shit doesn't stink, and they can just kind of down talk like, oh, it's a blogger. He doesn't, yeah, oh, it's a good point, but it's here, blogger, let me take that from you, I'll make this a real story. But I read that, and I was so pissed off for my friend Tim, and Tim didn't care, but I was like, man. Anyways, let's see. Da Vinci, I think Bronco Celebration East is April 21st, hoping to see the new Bronco in the flesh. Well, Da Vinci, if you are at Bronco Celebration East, you may meet me, because I will be there. I am teaming up with Bronco Battalion USA, and I'm going to help them out at their booth. And in return, I'm going to do some interviews and stuff there. So I will be at Celebration East. I'll be in East Tennessee a bunch coming up. I'm there in 3 weeks, and then for April, and then I got something else in the summer I got to do there. And I hate East Tennessee. No, let me rewind. I hate Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area with a passion. Let's see. Kevin says, I'm sure it will be nominated, and of course it would boost sales, but we'll see. Kevin, I don't think that I don't think that those things, I see them in dealerships, you always see the little cutout of Motor Trend Truck of the Year and all that. I just don't think it matters anymore. I don't think any of that stuff matters, as far as, once again, that industry just been left in the wayside. And I don't think, my generation, I'm Gen X, we're kind of the last people that are going to remember magazines that when they meant something. And I think now that, like my son's generation, they want to know something about a product, they go to YouTube. They really do. Like, it's amazing to me how much my son will just research something on YouTube. Dave, you should have an annual award show. That would be cool. Kevin, me and Danny actually talked about that on the NMP side. And I don't think the channel's ready for that. I don't think my 2,000 subs are going to justify an award show just yet, but we'll see. Let's see. Joe says, Dave, what is the best place to live in Tennessee? Well, I'm in my house. I think it's a pretty damn great place to live in Tennessee, Joe. Let's see. Depends. If you've got a little bit of money and you want to spend a little bit, you're going to want to be over at where Nissan HQ is in Brentwood, Tennessee, and Cool Springs, Tennessee, and Franklin, Tennessee, to be proper. That's the little posh area. I am in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is kind of a suburb of Nashville, and I I love it a lot. I'm from Ohio. Left when they had a blizzard of 78. My family came down here. They came to the Grand Ole Opry in the late 60s and just liked this area and was like, shit, let's just move there. And so I've lived here pretty much all my life. Depends on what you're looking for. I would stay away from West Tennessee, the Memphis area. A lot of crime, but there's beautiful parts over there. I mean, beautiful parts over there. Knoxville area is super nice. If you like hills and the Appalachian Mountains, they're there. And I will say this, Chattanooga has my heart. Chattanooga reminds me of a lot of a little Colorado town. It's just kind of a cool, younger people now and a lot of things to do there. So I don't think that really answered your question, Joe, but I like it all. Yes, print is dropping faster than a penny off of a cliff. Alpine, I don't think 24-year-olds anymore know what a magazine is. When I was a kid, my mom would go to the local grocery store and I would be right at the magazine section, man. I was reading Cars or whatever I was into, Guitar World probably, or Drummer World. That was my big thing for magazines, but now, I don't know. Let's see. Memphis is dangerous. I would agree, Kevin. You can go on Beale Street and you're fine, but past that, it's a little sketchy. Let's see. Smitty says, if I lived in Coal Creek, I would be broke from wheeling all the time. Actually, Smitty, you would not, because Windrock Park offers a 365 pass, man. It's like $150 or something like that, and it's open 24/7, man. You never pay again. Now, breaking things you might pay. What is up, Brailsford Ford Rides? What's going on, man? Let's see. Kevin says, I woke up one morning at a hotel in Memphis on a Ford truck tour, and 4 of the 6 F-150s were left on blocks. Oh, man. Yeah, Kingsport's not a bad town. I will say the Bristol area, home of the Bristol Motor Speedway, where NASCAR is about to run dirt racing. It's the dumbest thing. Anyways, Bristol is a super nice area. It depends on what you need out of Tennessee, man. If you want like Murfreesboro is great because I'm about 40 miles from Nashville. I'm just close enough to want to go see all the cool shows or whatever, and I can come home. But I'm just far enough away from it that I don't have to deal with all the BS that comes with big cities. So, no, I'd be breaking my hoopties. You go take the GTO up there, Smitty? Program note. Let's see. The 26th, we will be in Australia. We will be talking to Dash Off-Road, Virginia Dash Off-Road. I think they have a weird name. Australians are weird, man. I kid. I love Australians. But we're going to be talking about Armadas. They do a lot with Nissans, but they are changing the game on Armadas, and they've got all this new armor and stuff. So I wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. And I got some other cool things coming up. Let's see. Tennessee is better than living in Alabama. I don't know, man. Alabama's not too bad. I go to Huntsville every so often. Let's see. All out, balls out. Oh, man. That's funny. Let's see. What else was going on in the world of auto manufacturing this week? I'll be honest, guys. I'm a little tapped today. Let's see. Let's look at if you know me for this. We'll see what's going on there. Oh, sales reports were out. I know that's always a thing. I did see that Nissan, the new Nissan Rogue, is going to have to be retrofitted because it wasn't passing crash testing. That came out. Mitsubishi's little minivan actually got a 0 on crash testing, which has never been done before. What else we got going on here? Speaking of the old school, let's go over there and see what they're talking about. We got some Bugatti Chiron Sport versus the Pure Sport. We could talk about that, or let's see, Mazda's CX-30 They've been talking about that. Oh, the Jeep Wagoneer. Where do you guys stand on this? All right, kind of political, kind of not. Who cares, right? Because we're a car channel, but this is car stuff. So the Cherokee Nation came out, or well, the head of the Cherokee Nation. I know he sort of speaks for the tribe, but I don't think he always does. Come out and said, "Hey, Jeep, it's time you stop using our name for your vehicles." Now, we live in a wacky world, and I don't want to know your stance on everything, but I do want to know your stance on, I don't look at when Jeep called it Cherokee or the Grand Cherokee or whatever. I don't view that as like a disrespectful name. Now, I am out of touch with this because I am not an American Indian or Native, whatever you want to be called. But I'm curious what y'all's take is. Where do y'all see, do you think it's right that Jeep is like, they kind of came out last week and said, no, we're going to continue to use the name. And I think the tribe was kind of backpedaling a little bit, and they're like, well, Jeep left the door open for us. And it's like, no, they really didn't. They said they're going to use the name. And I'm all for it because I don't view that name as being a disrespectful to that tribe. I mean, if anything, it brings attention to the Cherokee name. But I'm just curious what y'all kind of thought about that. Let's see here. Oh, you guys got your own chat going on in there. Let's see. Thoughts on hydrogen powered cars? I think hydrogen's way more sustainable than electric. I think even I want to say Elon Musk came out and said, "Hey guys, our grid system is not capable of powering all these EV cars that you want." So I guess we could get into nuclear energy versus solar energy and all that. I think nuclear energy is a great option. Let's see, Dr. Detroit, what do you think about the modularity video taking the fenders off in 15 minutes? Hey, pay for them to use their name. It's their name. Those videos, Dr. Detroit, well, the one came out was it got released before it was supposed to. And I don't normally agree a lot with Bronco Nation, but out of the 3 videos I've watched and those, if you're not familiar, here, I'll see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, so the Bronco let a couple auto mags come in and demonstrate how the fenders and everything come apart, which if you don't know, it's really cool because Ford engineered these fenders. People are going to use these things and they're going to ding the fenders up, and Ford's got it to where you can replace them all. And I think it's really, really cool. But I thought it was cheesy, man, that some of these guys were wearing masks. And it's like, who are you? Who are you? I don't know. It just struck me as funny. I thought the videos are cool. I watched Bronco Nation dropped one a little bit ago where they're showing that you can the switch panels, and we'll go into that for a minute. But here's the video. And we'll just get a couple seconds of this.
The Bronco Nation, your place for all things Bronco.
I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
What I'm talking about is removing the grill on this wild track Bronco. First, pop the hood and remove the push pins that hold the air shield in place. Then, remove the air.
This one's about the grill. So let's skip to it. I do like that the grills pop out like this. So I do like that they're showing this. And Ford had been hinting around that, it's like tennis shoe laces or something. Oh, it's interchangeable. I can only imagine what these grills are going to cost. But I thought this was a video. I like that this guy. I have a local connection to this guy. And I want to interview him. I've reached out to Bronco Nation, and they've kind of turned their nose at me. What's up, Zach Phillips? But when Bronco Nation's videos on these, especially when this guy shows like the how-tos and stuff, very, very, I love it. I think they do a really good job with this stuff. I think they fail is they had the younger kid that was doing some of the reveals when they were out at Johnson Valley. He's just, I look at this guy and I'm go, okay, he probably could buy a Bronco. The other kid that they're showing, I'm like, he's 23. I looked him up. I linked in this dude, and he's not buying a Bronco. And he's a little waspy. I'm sure he's a super nice guy. I just don't think of he doesn't appeal to me as a off-road enthusiast, but this guy does. So, but as you can see, it shows him taking this apart, which is really, really cool. Now, let's go to. I'm doing this all on the fly for you guys. Let's see what. Oh, no. I should have been prepared for this. I apologize. I can't think of who did that. Let's see if it pops up to this. Nope. Anyways, you guys don't want to see me scroll through this all day. So the video was out where it shows them removing the fenders, shows how you can remove the fenders and replace them or whatever. And that guy that we just saw on Bronco Nation, they produced a nice video where it shows them removing it, and they edit some stuff out, But these other videos I watched, it was like you could tell the kind of nerdy dude he's not a car guy by any means, or he doesn't work on cars, and he was fumbling through trying to get the front fenders off, and then they show him taking the back fenders off, and I'm at the point of like I don't care. Some of this is going to be great when like on the forums, like on Bronco 6G, like when we get our hands on the Bronco. What is up, pickup truck and SUV talk? CNET did the video. That's awesome, Tim. Tim, you got a minute to hop on and talk about me? I was ranting about your video a little bit, not about you, but other parts of it. But they were showing them taking off the fenders and stuff, and I don't get it. I just think it was like Ford's going, hey, well, we scheduled to talk about this now. And I just felt like showing the fenders and all that come off here was a little too early. If people had them where you could go watch this video and go, oh, man, it's that easy. I'm going to go take my tools and do that. Yeah, that would be awesome. Doctor who stole my car. Those fenders, yes, Dr. Detroit, those square fenders, I'm like, that's how it should have came. My nitpick of the Bronco, as cool as I think it's going to be, the round fenders with the flares out, I don't know. I don't know. It's not for me, but once again, I think it's a cool enough car that I'm not like going to, it would never stop me from buying one, but I love the fact though that what do they call those, the weekend fenders, Dr. Detroit, where they're like, oh, you can exchange these out in minutes. And once I do that mod, I'm not let's see. Hold on a second here. I gotta throw the man on here. The man of the hour. Enough car that I'm not like let's see if I can do this quickly. From buying one, but I love the fact though that what they call those. I hear me on Tim's video. Let's see. Just a second, guys. We're gonna want to talk about this one. Let's see. Where you at, Tim? There's maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh, it's not you. It's me. I'm over here. It's not you. I'm breaking up with you, Tim. It's not you. It's me. It's not you.
I just muted the YouTube video.
I love these. Hey, I'm gonna come on the thing real quick, and the chaos that ensues. All right, where you at? There's Discord. Man, who would have thought this would be such a pain in the butt? Let's see. Wing capture. But you guys are going to want to hear this, so I think. So let's see if we can. There we go. Maybe. Nope. Tim, how you doing, buddy? I think they can hear you.
I'm doing well. I don't know if they can hear me or not, but I just got off a auto rider Zoom. We were discussing stuff, and I saw you were live, and I was like, hopped over, and you're like, "Hey, got on." I'm like, "All right." I guess I'm having a little bit of whiskey already. Already talking. My throat is ready for some more voices and sounds coming out. So I thought, well, let's hop on Dave's
Yeah,
live stream here
why not? You
and
know,
blow up.
what? Well, first off, what are you drinking tonight, Tim? I mean, I'm on a Maker's Mart tonight.
I got just some Crown,
Just
and
a,
I had a big ice cube, and it's been well, I got a little ice cube now, unfortunately, but it was a big ice cube at one point.
well, that happens, man.
Mm.
That means you need more whiskey. Is what that means.
Yeah, I've been tied to my desk for a couple hours now, talking on about a Ford Rust issue. Imagine of all that many things, and been talking about different things. So yeah,
Well, let's see. So my whatever reason, it's not wanting to cooperate here. But so
sorry,
guys,
I
let
can
me know
hear
if okay, they can hear you. So Tim, while I'm working on this, man, so you done a story this past week of the rust issue that you were showing under your truck. Now, to be fair, you know, obviously we have to tease the audience a little bit to get them to click the video, and you want to throw it just enough out there to get them interested in clicking your video. Once they do, it's not like the whole Ford truck was falling apart from rust. But what you brought up was definitely a issue of concern, right?
Yeah, so I'll give the backstory. If you haven't seen the videos yet, so my 2021 F150 hybrid, the new one this year, has some surface rust issues. Surface rust only on the rear axle housing, or people call it diff cover. I call it rear axle housing, and on the exhaust hanger brackets. And I have a spot on the frame that's been chipped. So, 3,000 miles on a truck, and I have rust on it. And so it's fine. And it's rust on there. It's again surface rust on a cast iron axle, not the end of the world, but it has raised some pretty interesting questions in that what is going on with that truck? What is the uh, why is that not e-coding correct on that?
Right.
I've seen some pretty interesting comments both ways where people are like, on the one hand, you have people saying, quit whining, it's not a big deal. All trucks do this, which is not accurate, but that's
No.
what they're saying. On the other hand, you have people saying, oh my God, it's a brand new truck. What the F? Why do you have rust in your truck? And so it's been a really, really interesting week on this. I've been quoted in, my goodness, Car and Driver, Power Nation, The Drive, MSN, Yahoo. And I didn't intend that to happen, but
Right.
that's what happened. And so, it's not an issue, but there is a question that says if you spent $55,000 on a new truck, would you want a rust issue on a new truck that's been through? Let me clarify here. I'm in Western Nebraska, so I'm not in Nebraska overall. I'm Western Nebraska, where I have the rust that typically happens in the eastern side. The eastern side is the Missouri River. There's rust in Missouri River because you have humidity and the river. Western side, my climate is more like Arizona, so I have more of a very, very arid climate, and so I shouldn't have this much rust. It's not like it's like, oh my God, rust. It's not that situation, but I had been approached by viewers on my channel that said, hey, we saw a story in the Free Press, Detroit Free Press. The guy in Texas has rust. Do you have rust too? And I was like, okay, well, I looked at it. And literally what happened was that I was out playing golf, as I typically do. And I before I teed off, I crawled under my truck and I checked to see if there's rust. And then as I played, it just sat in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just sat in my mind more and more. And I thought, by the time I got done, I was pissed. I was like, the more I think about this, the more I think that I just spent a lot of money on this truck. I mean, my payments on this truck are $870 a month, $870. I was $1,000 refinance, whatever. But so with insurance, $1,000 a month. So I'm paying $1,000 a month for a truck that has rust on it. Is it gonna damage the internal components of the rear axle? No, it doesn't look good. And my issue with the cosmetic issue is that I plan on selling this truck in August, September. So my issue with it is not about me. This isn't about my issue, and I'm a wimp and all this kind of. I've
Right.
heard a lot of comments this way.
Right.
But my issue is that the next guy who buys this truck, will he have a problem with it? And then it becomes a question of, should I take? I've been talked this week about this fluid film I can do with it. There's this Kronk undercoat coating I can do with this. There's lots of different things I can do with this truck to make it look better. And I've just been thinking about this a little bit. Like, I spent a lot of money on this truck. Should I be now in charge of putting the undercoating on the truck?
Right. Right.
I
No,
think no.
I would agree because for one, knowing what you're doing with this truck, you're not drove it a lot. I mean, 3,000 miles sounds like a lot, but it's not in reality for what you've owned the truck 2.5 months now. Um,
Yeah, I mean it's like 3 months, and I drove it 1,000 miles home from Dearborn,
right.
or basically Michigan area, and so I mean that's my big trip. Like I put 1,000 or so miles on it. It really should have about 2,000 miles on it, and I've had emails from guys across this country who are telling me their 300-mile truck has rust on it. The trucks at dealerships have rust on it.
Wow.
And I mean, how many times do you crawl underneath your truck? Not that often. It's not, and I get that. It's not a big thing. It's not something that guys crawl under the truck. I was laughing because a thought occurred to me. In the first day of that video, had 25,000 views, which is I have 46,000 subscribers. That's a good chunk, right? And so I thought to myself, every view is a dude crawling under his truck, looking at the undercoating.
Right.
So I made 25,000 people crawl underneath their truck last month. Was it the Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever that day it was. And so I mean, that's the reality of things. Guys are going. You know what? They're looking now, and I put a spotlight on an issue that is not reported on very often, and I think it's a situation where it's like guys are going, well, what the f? And I'm not on the screen, but I think I had a Zoom call. I think my camera's occupied the Zoom call. I do apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine.
But yeah, I just find that I think there's a really weird split in the truck world right now between guys who care and guys who don't care. And I know I'm going to sell this truck in 6 months or whatever, how many months we have left. And I could be like, I don't care. I'm going to sell it. Next guy's problem.
Right.
But I think that's a BS kind of excuse. I mean, I want to make sure the next guy I sell this truck to enjoys his truck for the rest of his life, the rest of the ownership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have these real concerns about what do I do now and what's it look like. And we are doing on the website, we're doing a deep dive. My managing editor, Jill, yeah, there it is. That you're putting on the screen. That is a Ram differential right there on the screen.
Okay.
That rear diff or the rear axle housing, whatever you guys want to call it. What's been really interesting about the whole scenario is that not every brand has it. That Ram and Toyota do not have rust issues like Ford and GM have.
Well,
and I've talked to a couple undercoating companies that say that Ford and GM have lots of undercoating issues. They have tons of undercoating issues.
Is it I'm assuming this axle is a Dana variant of some sort, and so Ford buys these axles. They tell Dana or whoever's building the axle for them, this is what I want, and this is the price we're willing to pay. And now Ford part of the F-150's best value is sometimes it's cheaper than all the other brands, and not by a ton, but it's usually more of a of what I've noticed anywhere, it's the cheaper model, because they want to sell so many of them. Do you think it comes down to where they've told Dana or whoever builds them, this is our price, be damned if the coatings on it or not, and move on from there?
It's been a question coming up. The cost, cutting corners, has been a constant question. There is a question about Dana. Dana's been brought up a lot of conversations. Dana's a tier 1 supplier.
Mm-hmm.
If Ford said, go sit in the corner, sit in a chair, and cross your legs, Dana would go sit in the corner, in the chair, and cross their legs, right? I mean, they're a tier 1 supplier. They live and die on that. And
right.
So it is interesting. I I've been talking Sterling axle. Dr. Detroit says I've been talking to different engineers who claim that's a Dana axle. It could be a Sterling axle. I'm not going to argue either way. It's not that. That is what's interesting about it is it's a new axle. I don't know if you find my Facebook, Dave, but I don't know if it's on there. But yeah, that one right there. Click on the F-150 already has rust issues. You can see my my axle in that rust issues thing. But it is a tier 1 supplier issue. Dana did not do a good job on that. There is the Dana axle on the F-150 hybrid is a 3/4 ton axle. It's a 9.75 axle. It's a new axle for the F-150. And so there's questions about that, but people are, it just, again, it's been an interesting conversation all across the board. There are guys who think it's not great. There's guys that think it's great. I mean, it's created such a conversation. Again, I've been quoted in many different places. I'm not even sure at this point what I'm quoted, but yeah, there's my axle. It's not bad. It's not like it's, oh my God.
No, but the way I see that,
I'm
in Middle Tennessee, I would see that axle and go, okay, that's a couple-year-old truck, is what I would
right,
see normally.
Yeah. I think that's a fundamental problem. The fundamental question is, should a new truck like that have surface rust like that already?
Right. And on the diff, on the diff itself, it doesn't bother me. But the problem being when I see it on the U-joints over there, that's going to premature. If it's rusting on the outside, it's rusting on the inside, and then it's just liable to, like sandpaper on the inside of that. It's going to wear the U-joints out, maybe faster than it should. And yeah, so yeah, you get a 3-year warranty on this thing. What, 36,000 miles, and what is this thing going to look like in 3 years? And once again, that diff is so thick that rust ain't going to do any damage to it. But it's the principle of it.
Well, and so you get some guy who, is more anal than I am, who crawls under my truck and says, oh, this has got massive problems. I'm not buying the truck.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to offer you $5,000 less because you got rust on your E-joint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute here. That's not an issue. And you're right. Dr. Detroit's right. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all the way it is currently. So, but why? That's my biggest thing. It's like, guys keep telling me it's normal. It's not bad at all. It's normal. My question to those guys is why? Why is it normal?
Right.
Why are you accepting that it's normal? Why are you saying that's okay? That's my biggest thing. It's like I got guys 30 years in the business, 45 years in the business, whatever. My question for them is why, if you're going to spend $55,000, why don't you demand more for your money?
Right.
Like, and from a consumer standpoint, I'm demanding more for my money. I put a spotlight on this. I know there's internal conversations going on at Ford right now, and it's an issue. Ford is talking about this. I don't know all the way to CEO level, but I almost can guarantee you the CEO of Ford is looking at my story. He's looking at my axles. He's questioning his team because it's like, why do I now have this? And then the other part of this question is, that's not bad at all. Okay, that's fine. But what's next buyer going to think?
Yeah.
What else is wrong with this truck? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Matt asked about Titan axles. I don't have any Titans in my area. I really tried to find them.
I will say
there's no Nissan Titan for sale. I can't find them.
Right. I didn't experience this, Matt. I didn't experience this in the 3 years of ownership, and I was the guy that got under my truck a lot. This wasn't a problem on the Titan. I can guarantee you that.
Right. I'm not trying to be a puss about this. I'm not trying to be I'm not angry. I still love my truck. Don't get me wrong. I still love my truck. I like it. I'm gonna buy a Tundra or Silverado this fall, not because of this truck at all. It's not. I'm not gonna sell it because of these issues.
Right.
It's a business decision. It's for the channel. That's the way it's gonna be. I still like the truck a lot, but I'm just like, it just really creates questions on why I have to deal with this.
Yeah, it boggles my mind. I mean, on one hand, this kind of a story is great for you because it's bringing your channel a lot of attention. It puts you on the map a little more than you were. People taking notice, and what's interesting about this is it's a story that's not a story that's a story because, once again, you weren't aware of this. Not who gets under their truck all the time, unless you're a dealership or something that would lift these up all the time. Why would you ever look at the diff on this thing and go, "Holy shit, my diff's it's rusting. Why is that?" But it's something that people aren't aware of. Like, you've definitely made people aware of, like, hey, look at this. This isn't common for a vehicle to do this. And I wouldn't buy a brand new house and there'd be black mold in it and go, oh, that's just part of it. No, I'm not worried about it. Like, this shouldn't be. Trucks used to be cheap. Like used to be able. I remember my first '97 F150 I bought. I think it was $17,000. It was a V6 basic thing, but I guarantee you it didn't rust like this after I pulled it off the dealership. And now trucks are more expensive than ever because they're a profit machine. And maybe the manufacturers are starting to getting a little too greedy because they're like, well, we can save on this little coating or save on this or that. And, oh, look at the profits just keep coming and coming on these things. And at some point, yeah, most people don't own a vehicle 3 years anymore and it's gone. But you're hurting the brand's rep because a lot of people own used vehicles. And they're going to, there's always the debate anyways in trucks. Oh, Ford, found on the road dead or whatever. This does not help that situation if a $60,000 truck looks like this.
Yeah, it's definitely a black eye. Again, it's not like it's anything it's not a negative thing.
Right.
And it's not like it's determined from buying a Ford. Like, I was asked tonight on the Automotive Writers Group, they're like, would you tell people not to buy a Ford? I'm like, no, I wouldn't tell people not to buy a Ford because of a rust issue like this.
Right.
We all know it's going to work fine, but it does create some issues in my mind that says, why do Toyota and Ram trucks not have this, but Ford has this? And then also the thing too is, like, if it's normal, why aren't people talking about this? And so I just feel it as a situation where I'm shining a bright light on something that's not covered very often.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it wasn't my story. I'm just riding on people's coattails on this. And so it's like, it's been interesting. It's been, I've drank a lot of whiskey this week. I just put it like that.
Well, but
a lot of long nights, a lot of comments I can't read because of asterisks covering up the F words and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just, but there's definitely a divide in the truck world, and I guess my ultimate thing is like this: is that if trucks are going to keep expanding, if we're going to see EV trucks and Honda Ridgelines and the Santa Cruz coming in line, and more consumers buying trucks with the Ford Maverick and the Rivian R1T and all kinds of stuff coming into the marketplace. As more and more consumers start experiencing trucks that aren't truck people, are they going to be satisfied with this?
No,
are they going to be satisfied with what's going on? Are they going to? It just creates a whole can of worms.
Right.
Our truck manufacturers have been riding on coattails for years because people are saying, "Oh, not a big deal, not a big deal, not a big deal," and now some people are saying, "Wait a minute, I want more for my dollar," and it just creates a whole interesting conversation. Will the Bronco have this issue? Will the Bronco have this issue? Again, YouTube Car Spotter Guide. That's a great question. And honestly, it's yes. Yes. I mean, if you get a new Ford Bronco and you paid $55 or whatever, Dave,
50,
you know more about that.
$52,000 is what I'm paying for mine.
$52,000 for it. And it's the first time buying a Bronco. You've driven Camrys and Corollas and things. You want to buy this really cool new truck and show it off to your parents and show it off to your girlfriend, your husband, or whatever you want to do with this thing. Would you not want to show it off completely? And now you have rust on it as you drive it off the lot.
Well, here's the thing with off-road vehicles. This, more than just normal most Ford pickup trucks, let's be honest, are fleet trucks. They're just made to be abused and worked. The Bronco they're playing in Jeep Wrangler territory now where people want to lift them. They're showing off the underside of these vehicles because you're wanting to see the suspension flex and all the cool stuff. And the last thing I want to do is like be on an off-road trail and my truck is really flexed out. You see under it, people standing up can see under it, and then they're looking at a brand new truck and seeing rust everywhere. Like, I think for Bronco especially, it's you better not cheapen out too much on this kind of stuff. And Dr. Detroit, look, dude, I've owned Fords, man. You are a solid dude, and I know you're working at the plant where they're doing the Broncos. And I don't think Tim is by any means is. I don't think this is story. This story's attacking Ford or anything. It's just highlighting hey man, there's recalls all the time. It's just highlighting a particular thing that could be a recall or something. But with Bronco especially, you don't want that's now your little halo vehicle, and you damn sure don't want your little halo vehicle like this, because people, like I said, people will overlook trucks, I think, a little bit because they're just like, well, trucks are beat up. That's what they do. But you get into or what if a Mustang starts looking like this? What then? Do you just go, oh, well, that's just Ford now. They're just rust buckets.
I thought it was really interesting. I was looking on FordAccessories.com for a different reason. I was looking for they changed the backup Ford's terminology, the Pro Trailer Backup Assist System, whatever. They changed the way that system works. So I was looking on Ford Accessories for a new sensor box. I'm trying to figure out the price in this. So I was looking around, and they offered a Ford Raptor diff cover in chrome that was shiny that said Ford Raptor on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it struck me as interesting because it's like, if you don't think that Ford knows people are looking at diff cover, then why the F are they offering a Raptor diff cover you can buy for $100 and some odd?
Right.
Because they know people are looking at that stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really interesting. I don't, again, Dr. Detroit, I don't think there'll be a recall on this. I don't know what Ford's going to do, but it definitely doesn't look good when you have the Explorer having issues, the Mach-E being delayed, the Bronco being delayed, and now the F-150 was delayed because of all the issues, and now you have rust on my rear axle housing on a brand new F-50. And it's not, again, not just mine. Many people have rust issues on this. So I think Ford looks pretty damn bad on this. Right. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't create more news. The end result was, like I was saying about whether Ford was going to ban me from PR events because of all this stuff happening.
Come on, man! You didn't show pictures that shouldn't have been out there just yet.
Right. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
I'm a journalist, right? And I'm a consumer too. So it's a weird place to be. But I was like, I'm a consumer, and as a consumer, I'm not happy.
Right.
I'm not doing 400 videos on this and I'm upset about it, whatever. I'm just saying that, there should be something going on with Ford to say, and I don't know if the recall, whatever, I would like my dealer to spray my rear axle again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd be a bad thing.
Right.
I think it'd be all right if they would paint it and make it look better. They don't have to do the exhaust hangers. I know it's stainless steel. It's going to take 400 years to rust through. I get that. It's thick stainless steel. But I wouldn't mind having that. I mean, again, it's I spent a lot of money on this truck,
right? And
it's something that I'm proud of. And it's the first time. Well, it's my third new truck,
right?
So I bought an S10, I bought a Tundra, and I bought this. Is the first time I into the truck looking at stuff? Yes, it is. I'm not going to hide from that. First time crawling underneath, and again, it was based on comments I got asking me the questions,
right?
And so, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't not recommend Ford because of it, but I do think that there is an opportunity here for Ford to step up and make things right.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And of course, like you were saying, this generation of truck has had a couple hiccups already. And it's the last thing, all these manufacturers now they've put all their eggs in the truck basket. They've got rid of all their cars, and the last thing they want now is a little ding on their one profit machine. And ultimately, yes, it's not an issue, but once again, for what you're paying for these things, when 15 years ago this would have been a non-issue. Like you would have never, and the way the prices of trucks are going now, I think it's worth bringing up. Once again, is this going to stop me from buying a Bronco? No, because like you were saying, you said GM was kind of having the same problems. They are.
Yeah, so I looked at all the frames, and I looked at frames, and I looked at the rear axle housing and stuff. And really, it's Ford and GM. They really have a lot of problems. Ram has no problems. If you look at my comments on this video, which God bless you if you do, because have some beer or whiskey, because it's a lot. Oh my gosh! But if you look at these comments, you will see that Ram guys don't have problems. Toyota guys don't have problems. I didn't hear much from Nissan guys.
There's not
Chevy
many
guys,
of us, man.
I know. Chevy guys and Ford guys, they have this problem, and they don't like. They're not hiding from it. They just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm. Once again, I don't think anybody's going to attack.
Right?
You're
Yeah.
not attacking the brand by any means about it. Once again, the diff doesn't bother me, but all the hangers instantly rusting does sort of bother me a little bit. And ultimately, yeah, it's not stopping anybody from buying this vehicle, but it's part of what you do as a journalist, man. You're there to bring up these type of things, and if I'm looking at your comments now, if people don't like that, so be it. I mean, you've laid no bones about like that. You're not really a Nissan fan. I mean, you always review them honestly and fairly, but it's not like you're going out of your way to go buy a Nissan. There's other brands out there that you went and bought a Ford, for God's sakes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find
I've
it
gotten comments that I'm like a Ford troll, and I'm like, I own one.
right. Who spends $60,000 to troll a company?
Right. So yeah, and people are like, I thought it was interesting that I had to change my thing. I call it diff housing, and people are like, no, that's a rear axle housing, and truck guys are. There's always different terms for
Right,
stuff, and I
right.
had to improve my stuff. But the comments have been all over the place. It's like people are either really mad at me or they're not mad at me, and they're like, it's just a really interesting viewpoint. And I think that ultimately, I started a conversation which I think is going to benefit all truck owners. At the end of the day, as a journalist, I reported on something that's been reported on. I just covered my own, and I helped further the conversation. And now people are having conversations.
Right.
All your viewers, the 22 of them on tonight, think about this stuff, and people will replay this in the future. Think about this. Is it normal? And would it bother you? And I'm what I'm saying to you is, if you spend $1,000 a month on a truck, would it bother you to have rust in a truck like this?
Right.
It's an honest question. I'm not, and there is no right or wrong answer. There's no like, oh my God, it bothers me, or oh my God, it doesn't bother me. There's no right or wrong answer. It just really comes down to, what do you guys say? I mean, it's a really interesting question. It's like, and to me, it's a little bit of a e-coating issue with the Dana axle. They could have e-coated that better. It's already painted. There is no bare metal here. Don't get that. People have said that.
Right.
And so there is no. It is a painted axle, but does it bother you? I find it very, very fascinating issue. Some people care. Some people don't care. Some people do care. I mean, I don't know. It's been a really fascinating week, and to have my colleagues at Car and Driver, and my colleagues, I even called my truck blogger, which I know Dave's gonna laugh. But even though they called me different names, but to have Car and Driver, to have thedrive.com, which is a huge outlet,
Mm-hmm.
to have Power Nation TV pick it up, to have MSN, to have Yahoo, to have Torque News pick it up. And this is just beginning. I mean, there'll be, over this weekend, there'll be a dozen other outlets. They're gonna pull this up, and they're gonna say, what's going on? Oh, that's a great picture on the screen. I'm kind of maybe delayed, whatever, but if you look at this picture on the screen, you can see, what is it? The fill hole or the drain hole?
Yeah,
what do they call it?
It's a fill hole in that. The drain hole's in the back.
Right. I've gotten comments on this too. But if you look at the metal on that versus the metal around that cover, it's very interesting. You can see it. You can see the difference there.
Well, you know why?
On the screen.
You know why they coat that drain plug? They don't want it rusting together where you can't get it out. That's why.
Right.
That's why that plug's shiny and the rest of it's not. Is because they know that at some point some accountant made this decision. This wasn't a design decision. This wasn't some engineer at Ford going, you know how to save money. This came down to be an accountant decision of, here's where we can save a couple pennies, man.
Right. So I mean, it's very interesting. Yes. So Dr. Detroit says go to dealership, look at under it, you'll be surprised. I did that. I went to all of them because that was a constant comment. Was it's normal? You're making mountain out of, or a mountain out of a molehill, and I looked at all of them, and I will tell you, Ram and Toyota do not have the same problem. Toyota, my God, I could eat like a damn like a
Right.
sushi or cheeseburger off a damn
Right.
Toyota differential. I
Right.
mean, that thing looked sparkling. I mean, it was sparkling how much that looked like, and
But
so I thought it was
what
really
is Toyota known
interesting.
for?
Rust.
No, quality. I mean, yeah, they've had their
Oh
frame
no,
rod issues, but
no, Toyota frames have rusted bad, and
oh
they've had
yeah.
huge recalls. And so they went over the board on this.
Hmm.
They bent their backs over doing this stuff. And so I think to myself, like, here's a company, and I know Ford's a little smaller than Toyota is globally, and looking at sales stuff like that. But here's a company that went above and beyond to make that difference, and you have the difference now, and you can see it.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's good reporting, and it's something that, like I was saying earlier, nobody, you would have seen it and never thought about it, and just well, that's just the truck. Till you realize, and you start looking at other brands, and you're like, well, shit, that brand's not doing this, or this one's not doing this, or you go, dude, I had a Dana 44 under my Nissan Xterra I just sold that did not look like this, and that axle is 30 years old. 30 years old, and it did not look like this.
Right.
So,
At the end of the day, I just think to myself, we consumers have the power. Okay.
yeah.
So why not demand better? Why not being a dealership? Why not being asking for it? Why again? If I can go to Kronk Undercoating and for $140 have their service done in my truck, why can't Ford
Yeah.
run this through the axle assembly plant or whatever they're doing and do a spray on top of it?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I want something to be looking immaculate for 25 years. No, no, no. I'm saying that my first year of ownership, I expect that to be black.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And once again, you can tell it's selective how it's doing it. The axle shaft housing itself's not doing it the way they're assembled. So it's just they cheapened up on it, and they've gotten caught a little bit on it, and it doesn't make it a bad truck. It just makes it, noticeable to consumers, and consumers should expect more. Once again, when I was a kid, I remember the C10 pickup trucks before they just called them all Silverados. You could get one for $12,000. And that was 25 years ago or whatever, but in 25 years, that same truck now is a $70,000 truck.
Right,
And it was,
right.
and in some ways, I think quality was worse back then, but in some ways it was better because these things didn't happen. And once again, what I brought this up especially because like I texted you earlier, I didn't like the fact that some of the major outlets were picking this up, and good for you getting that publicity, but I thought it was kind of shitty that the one was like a truck blogger called you that. I was like, the dude's a journalist just like everybody else, man. I mean, I know you were just like, it didn't bother you at all, but I was just like, how disrespectful and I'm above you kind of thing. Like we're letting the little people feed us some stories. Thank you. But I don't know. I thought it was funny. And then I thought it was funny that the other outlet, who I will not mention, instantly ran out under their truck and was like, hey, I better type up a paragraph about that too. So we're in the search engines.
Well, yeah. So cars.com, that I don't know if you know this,
Mm-hmm.
cars.com bought an F-150 as well, and they did a story on their site about their truck arrest.
Really?
And so, I mean, you got TFL, you got cars.com, you have people doing stories in this now that, I mean, I had an engineer tell me that he says, your outlet, my outlet, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, you can find me over there, follow me,
Right.
whatever, like me, hate me, whatever. He says, your outlet's got to be a freaking nightmare for Ford. I kind of took that as a good thing, because my job is not to, to pamper their asses.
Right.
My job is to hold them accountable, and whether they like that or not, I don't care.
Right.
I
And
bought their truck.
well,
They
and
can kiss,
they went out of their way to help you get this truck too. I mean, they didn't buy
Yeah.
it for you, but they, it's not like you didn't go out there attacking like, man, as soon as they give me a truck, I'm going to attack these guys. But
Yeah, no, I mean, a 30-day recap. I still like this truck. I like this truck a lot. 30-day recap.
mhm.
I'm not being negative towards them. I'm not saying that like the truck is yeah, there you go. Put a there. Yeah. Put a picture of me on the screen. But I'm not saying that it's I'm being negative towards them. I'm not saying that like I would never buy this truck. I'm just saying this is the reality of things is that I drove this truck and there's this issue with it.
Yeah. It's nothing.
I think that,
I think at the end of the
I
it,
had people
go ahead, Tim.
yeah, I had people reach out to me and say that I'm going to get banned from media events like TFL did,
Nah.
and I think it's pretty interesting. So a lot of drama with TFL, a lot those guys do drama, but anyways, and I said to him, I said no, I said I'm not going to because at the end of the day, I'm a journalist. I promised my audience I was going to drive this truck for a year, and I was going to report on my findings,
Right.
and these are my findings.
Right. And it's no different. Like I like it because I get tired of seeing some of these outlets who kiss all these manufacturers' asses a little bit because
I
they want to
agree.
be the first
Yeah.
at everything. I like the fact that, and I think it's good for the consumer that more real journalism or more real reporting is coming out on some of these things. And once again, nobody's saying it's a hunk of shit truck. Like it's a great truck, man. I drove that truck. I have not the hybrid version you have, but dude, the 21 that I drove, freaking amazing vehicle. But I think some of these major outlets like Motor Trend and all them, they want to stay on such good terms with these that they're willing to overlook this. And I think that's what's kind of fun about the generation like you who are using YouTube and websites and stuff to come at this problem. And you know, you clearly you love trucks anyways. Like I've never seen anybody love trucks more than more than you do. And I think that bleeds into you want to show your audience, maybe at the end of the year you're like, look, this is the top 3 trucks, and this one maybe it didn't make it this year because of this rust issue, but guess what? Maybe next year it's the top truck. Who knows, man? But I think you're being totally fair about this. I have read a couple of the people kind of being shitty about it. And if you, all 23 of you left on here, if you guys would go over to Tim's video on that and give him a couple thumbs up on that one, because I think people are, once again, I watched your video when it dropped. I didn't watch that video and going, man, this guy's just being a dick to Ford. No, you just said, hey, this is weird, and moved on.
Yeah, I think what I've taken from this is that the majority of my audience who agrees with me won't comment.
Yes.
And that's okay because if you look at the likes, I have 700 and some likes
Yeah.
and 100 dislikes.
Yeah.
And those 100 dislikes are to me are from Ford fans.
Right.
And so, but if you look at the numbers, like 700 versus 100, right? So, I mean, the majority of people are agreeing with me saying this is a real problem. And the emails I'm getting, the messages, instant messages I'm getting, I mean, the Facebook messages, I mean, I worked 14 hours on Wednesday because I had so many damn emails and comments and things to roll out. And I'm okay with that because I love my audience. I always respond to them and they're responding to me. If you comment, I'm going to probably read your comment, although I've had to take a day off here and there because the comments have gotten kind of obscene. But I just feel like I'm not being a jerk about this. I'm just saying this is a real issue. Let's address this. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Talk about it as men and women, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if my wife, when I told her my wife that we had rust on her truck, she about lost her shit.
Right.
Right? Because 3,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
She about lost it because she's like, Western Nebraska. My 62 C10 I have outside, my Swede truck, has in probably 3 years same amount of rust that this F-150 will have.
Yeah.
And he's 50 years old in Nebraska.
Well, you should get under your Mazda that y'all have. Y'all have had that over a year now, and just like be A and B it and be like, this has been in the environments for so many year and a half, whatever. It either it does or it doesn't. I don't know what it looks like, but and be like, and this is brand new.
So that has been a conversation in the household. My wife and I have talked about this Mazda. I've been, and maybe I should do it tomorrow. But I feel like I have such a weird place in my life, in my business life, whatever. A dead horse comes to my mind. I'm just like how much do I push this issue? And so I've thought about this a lot of times too with the Mazda we have. So we leased a Mazda a year ago, and it's sitting in the garage. And so it's like I'm thinking about crawling into the Mazda and doing a video on the undercarriage because it's been the same environment. And so I wonder if that is the same issues. We've talked about this a few times, and maybe that's the next thing. I literally, Dave, I have a 30-day calendar on my wall, and you know this.
Mm-hmm.
30-day calendar on my wall of stories, and I have it all lined up because it calms me down to say each day I have one video put out. It just my mind, the way things work, I get so wrapped up in stuff. So 30 days, one video a day. I will tell you this right now. I have completely screwed up this week. The videos I wanted to run this week: Nissan Titan towing, Nissan Titan mile per gallon. I have a Mazda CX-9 to run. My toolbox, my poor new toolbox from Deck sent me this new toolbox. I completely missed that. I need to get that out. A consumer report story. I have. My entire week got foobarred because of this damn rust issue, and it's like I just think at the day I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do this again. But is it beating old dead horse? Is it not? But I find it fascinating.
Well,
I find it absolutely fascinating.
And to that, Tim, because earlier in this, before you jumped in, I'd gotten a bunch of people, and I was talking about how I got into covering any of this, and of course, I'm still new to this. And yeah, shit, where was it? Sorry, go ahead, man. I lost where I was going. I had a whole good rant on that. Anyways,
no, yes,
but so
yeah. I mean,
So people, you have to be honest with the audience, and as soon as you're not honest with your audience, they will leave you in a heartbeat. And like you were saying earlier, I think the people they're all upset about this are people that are just for diehard whatever brand you're picking on that week, and people that there's a lot more people out there now that especially use YouTube as their buying. To research buying cars, and they'll look at your video and be like, okay, he was really happy about this. And they may look at TFL or whoever and go, okay, they kind of fussed about this, and they move on to the third, and it's their final, how they chose that vehicle. And I think at the end of the day, I think you're justified in showing this. And I think that, would you have ever guessed that such a tiny little thing about it, it's not like the engine fell out of this, but would bring such attention to you this past week? Did you cover this going, man, this is really going to break me out?
No, not at all. I literally did this video thinking that people have asked me, here's the issue. This is my truck, and I bought one. And so think about this. I did this video on mine, and TFL, the big guys, right? Mm-hmm. They did a blog post.
Yeah.
And didn't show any photos at all. That's how we thought about this stuff differently. And I was kind of pissed off because it's my money, and I'm not rich, as people
think
what? That I may be rich. It's weird. Apparently, to buy a new truck, you have to be rich. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm not rich, and I just thought, well, let me do this.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I guess the thing I can't explain is I had a burning desire to do this video, and I had a burning desire not to trash Ford,
right?
But as a journalist, I had a burning desire to report on this, mm-hmm. because I love trucks. And I love journalism. Too much whiskey, but I love both, and I wanted to do both.
Right.
And that's end of the day. That was it. I was like, I'm going to report on this because I'm passionate about trucks. I don't want you to be screwed over this deal. I want to make sure you know what's going on, and I'm a journalist too. And my job is not to like butter your pancakes, not to butter your biscuit with a situation going on. My job is to do the inconvenient truths. Right. My job is to report on stuff that I don't like. And whether you agree with me or not, I don't care. But I'm going to report on things that I think are important to people. And I'm sorry, but end of the day, I grew up in Michigan. Rust is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Michigan, and rust is a huge concern.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Rust belt, salt belt. It is.
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee, Western Nebraska, not a big problem.
Yeah.
Eastern Nebraska, Michigan, New Hampshire, it's a huge issue. And why the fact that we have autonomous cars, EV cars, hydrogen cars, but the damn things still rust out is not being covered by the automotive press is bizarre.
Well, I'm sure you've done time in plants. I know I've seen where you were in the Silverado plant and all that.
Yeah,
I find it amazing. The bodies, of course, a lot of that truck now is aluminum, so you shouldn't have to worry about some of these problems on the body. But
sure.
I
Yeah.
love how, like with Nissan, they would take you through and show you how they dip them, the electrostatic dip them, and all this. Oh, it's for rust issues and stuff. And then I can see one that's been from Michigan or whatever, and you're like, well, it didn't stop that rust because that salt and ice just beat the shit out of that truck and car, and just like like I mean, it's not like in the 70s, when in the 70s these vehicles, they were started using recycled metal, and they weren't really processing it properly, and that's why a lot of 70s trucks and stuff, you see them, they got big holes in the side because they just rusted from the inside out. But these modern vehicles, you just expect more. And I wouldn't go when I had my shoulder surgery done a couple years ago. I wouldn't expect to be treated like I was in the 30s when they did it, with no, you just take a swig of whiskey and just go for it. Like I expect modern, they fix these modern things. And once again, guys, go over to Tim. I got his website up here, or his channel up here. If you haven't yet, man, Tim's your videos you do on Tuesday, your live streams with Jill, man, they're a lot of fun to watch. And I like that you have somebody to play off now. Like I used to love just watching you, but like Jill brings a whole new perspective to this. And I
Well, I will say this: Jill is Chicago. She's 5 foot tall.
yeah.
She's a shorter person, but um, Jill, when I brought this rust issue up to her,
Mm-hmm.
she was livid. Like she was absolutely livid, and it's been amazing to watch somebody. And Jill drives new vehicles. Her husband drives GTIs for some god known reason. But I mean, she was absolutely pissed.
Right.
And so to me, if Jill could be pissed off about this, and I'm sorry, but Jill is 5 foot nothing, spit and vinegar. I mean, I don't want to encounter her in a bar when she's had some pissed off atmosphere. I mean, she's somebody you don't mess
Right.
with.
Well,
She is
she's
something.
Italian, man. You don't mess
And
with the
so
Italians.
no, she's Italian as well. And when she was pissed off about this, I knew something was going on because she doesn't get pissed off about stuff very often. And when Jill's pissed off, oh damn, something's going on.
Well,
And so yeah, I think that's the live streams are really fun. You're on live streams. I appreciate you coming over there, Dave. I don't always get a chance to. The live last week was, and some weeks are just it's tough to get words edgewise
right.
because we have so much stuff going on and people are. I mean, it's just a lot of. What I love about it is that I'm interacting with you, the audience,
Mm-hmm.
and there's conversation flowing, and opinions are flowing, and I find it very interesting what guys' perspectives are, and girls, and guys and gals. I
Right.
mean, if you don't think women buy trucks, get a clue. And if you don't think women's influence the decision, get a clue. Like 70% of truck buying purchases are influenced by the woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'm telling. I don't want to say this clearly, but if your woman doesn't like your truck, but you're not getting very far.
Right. Oh no. My wife, I bought my Titan, and it turned into her Titan. She
Yeah.
just took it up. She loved it. And I will say this is for her, like she liked being a kick-ass chick in a big truck that people look at you like, you shouldn't be driving that. And you're like, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, your live shows are fun, man. And guys, if you have not yet, go subscribe to Tim's channel. I mean, he's only got 46,000 subs. He needs a few more. Come on. I mean, I'm at 2,000 right now. Come on, go. Let's all 2,000 of you right now. Go make a dent in his sub counter. But really, like, I really do. I love your videos, man. And I found you on a whim, which is funny. And somehow a couple years later, I wouldn't be doing, honestly, these live streams if I had watched you do a couple. And I was like, well, shit, I can do that. And it only took me about a year and a half to get there.
It's special skill live stream, special skill.
It is, and I can BS. I don't always know what I'm talking about, but anyway. So Tim, I appreciate you being on here, man. I know I can tell you were freaking worn out, and I appreciate you being on here.
I'm gassed.
but have a good one, Tim, and get some sleep, buddy.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
All right, man. Later. Well, there you guys go. You got to hear Tim and Dr. Detroit. You know we love you, buddy. We just we have to talk about these things and like what you were talking about. Yeah, oil based and all that. But I don't think it's relatively a big deal. I think it's a big deal because people expect more from their or they've grown to expect more, and ultimately it's kind of a letdown. But I don't think it's not going to influence anybody. If you're not buying a truck because there's some rust on the diff, sorry, you probably didn't need that truck anyways. So guys, there we have it, man. Almost 2 hours, and I didn't know how I was going to get through 45 minutes. I told you, man, it was going to be a good one. I didn't know if it was going to be, how good, but thanks for Tim for dropping on. Hopefully next week Danny will be back, and Dr. Detroit, I hope not, man, because I want to come see your first edition when that pops out of the plant. So I can't piss you off too bad. So guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, from all things Nissan, Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, it doesn't matter what you drive because this has been your Nissan Nation. And what Nissan Nation? Jeez, rewind this thing. This has been your All Terrain Nation, and I've been your host, David Boyd. And if I can get this to come up just right. So guys, pause it. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. Let's see. Man, y'all get to see all the backdoor fun here. We're out, everybody. See y'all next week. Hopefully y'all have a great week. And I don't